If you're learning Swedish, these 3 mistakes will make you sound like a real beginner, even if your vocabulary is actually quite good. And most students don't even know that they are making them. Hej allihopa and welcome back to Swedish by Hanna. If you're learning Swedish, especially on your own or through YouTube like this, then this video is for you. Today I'm going to show you 3 very common mistakes that beginners that are learning Swedish often make, and even more importantly, how to fix them. It's simple, practical Swedish. And let's start with one of the most common mistakes that I see all the time. The first one has to do with word order when you use more than one adjective in a sentence. And this is something I see all of the time. So many students use the correct words, however, they put them in the wrong order. Look at this example, for example. En röd stor bil. A red big car. What do you think is the problem here? Well, in Swedish, you put the size before color. So here the correct one would be en stor röd bil. A big red car. And same principle here. En vit liten hund is incorrect. The correct one is en liten vit hund. So again, you put the size before the color. So it goes like this. Size, color, noun. So if you speak English, this one is actually quite easy. As you can see, it's the same as the English order. However, many of my students that don't speak English so well do struggle with this quite a bit. So just try to remember the important rule of size, color, and then the noun. The second one that I think is even more common is that you forget to add a T when you're talking about ett nouns. So as you know, in Swedish, all of the nouns are divided either into en nouns, like the one you see here, or ett nouns, the one you see here. And you just have to memorize which are en nouns and which are ett nouns. However, this is really important in Swedish because depending on if they are en nouns or ett nouns, the other words that are associated to these words, like adjectives, for example, change form. So, for example, if you have the adjective which is stor, which means big, and if you put it together with an en noun, then it's just the same. En stor bil, a big car. However, if you use it together with an ett noun, then you have to put a T at the end. Ett stort hus. Ett stort hus. Or for example, ett högt berg. Ett högt berg. So here again you put the T at the end of hög. Högt. So this is something that many students, especially those who are A2 level and beyond, actually already know. However, this is something that I notice a lot of Swedish learners forget when they speak. So just keep that in mind, because if you use the correct form, it will make you sound a lot more natural and fluent. And the third mistake I see all of the time is using the word mycket the wrong way. So this is something I haven't seen other teachers talk so much about. But my students love the word mycket, but they tend to overuse it. And there are actually other expressions that might sound a bit more natural depending on the context and the words in your sentence. So you can of course say mycket bra or mycket roligt. However, saying väldigt bra or jättebra might sound a bit more natural. So instead of saying den här låten är mycket bra, it might sound more natural to say den här låten är jättebra. Mycket often refers to an amount, whereas väldigt or jätte refers more to a degree. So again, instead of saying det är mycket kallt idag, det är väldigt kallt idag or det är jättekallt idag might sound a bit more natural in Swedish. I have been teaching Swedish now for over 10 years, and through my experience working in academies and also having private students, these are some of the mistakes that I see all of the time. However, there are also many more, so please let me know if you'd like me to do a part 2. And also let me know in the comments, which mistake do you make the most when you try to speak or write Swedish? Let me know in the comments and I might make a video on that topic. Vi ses!